Hi everyone. Welcome to Bible lesson number 12, Jacob's Ladder. We're going to start today with a demonstration. I have a cup of water here with blue food coloring, and I have an empty cup on this side. Now, if I keep them apart like this, and I start to pour, do you expect the water to go into the empty cup? What's your prediction? Wait, let's add a string to this. I have a string attached to my cup. I will hold it into the empty cup, and now I will begin to pour. And let's see what happens. Do you expect the water to go into the empty cup? Let's check it out. I'll start to pour. Ooh, can you see what's happening? Can you see that the water is traveling down through the yarn and into the empty cup? Is that what you expected? Wow, look at that. You know what? This isn't magic, and it isn't a miracle. It is because water is very special. If you've been in our Canyon Kids creation class, then you know that God created water to be a very special substance. It has a lot of interesting properties, and it can behave in ways that you wouldn't expect it to behave. It's not a miracle. It's just the way God created it to be. Well, what does that have to do with Jacob's ladder? When I think of Jacob, I think of someone whose life was filled with many unexpected events. After all, he was the second born of twins. His twin brother was born first, so he should have been the leader of the family. But something unexpected happened. Even when they were born, Jacob was born holding on to the foot of Esau. He was holding on to his heel. It was as if he was saying, "Hey, big brother, wait a minute. You're not going to be the boss of me." God created man. He created Jacob. He created Esau in such a way that sometimes unexpected things happen. Well, when Jacob did grow up, he became quite the trickster, didn't he? And he kind of cheated Esau out of things that you would expect Esau to have. You would expect him to be the one that got the birthright. You would expect him to be the one that got the blessing of the family. But that's not the way it happened, and it really wasn't God's plan. It's unexpected to us, but God planned it that way. Well, you might remember when we stopped our lesson last week that Esau was very angry with his brother Jacob because Jacob had gotten the birthright and the blessing. And he said, "When my father dies, I am going to kill that Jacob." Let's open our Bibles to Genesis chapter 28, and let's see what happened. Did he end up killing his brother? Let's check it out. Genesis chapter 28. Follow along with me. We're going to start reading in verse 10. Then Jacob departed from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And here's why. Rebekah and Isaac had come up with the idea that Jacob should go back to Haran, where Rebekah was from, to find a wife. A wife that was a God worshiper, not an idol worshiper like the Canaanite women. So Jacob left. Esau didn't kill him because Jacob left. And he went toward Haran. But something unexpected happens along the way. Let's see what happens. He came to a certain place and spent the night there. This is verse 11. For the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of the place and put it under his head and lay down. Now, you know what? I do a lot of camping, hiking, backpacking, and I often have come upon a stone when I was very tired, and I would lay down on the stone. I would rest against it. If I were going to sleep there all night, I probably would have taken off part of my cloak, wrapped it under my head, and put it under for a softer pillow. I don't know. Maybe Jacob did that. That wasn't important. What was important is that he laid on a stone, and that stone becomes important later. Well, while he's laying there, asleep, something unexpected does happen. Let me move my stone so I can tell you about it, okay? Let's read back in the Bible. While Jacob was asleep, God sent him a dream. Verse 13. Verse 12. And he had a dream, and behold, a ladder was set on the earth, and its top reaching to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending upon it. And guess who was at the top of the ladder? Verse 13. The Lord stood above it. So Jacob has a dream. God sends him this dream. Was it a miracle? Was it magic? No, certainly not. But God made man in a way that he can influence his life. He can cause unexpected things to happen like dreams. So he sent him a dream. Jacob dreamed about a ladder or stairs that went all the way from the ground all the way up to heaven. Now, I don't know exactly what that dream would have looked like, but here's the drawing that an artist did. And you can see the angels going up and down. These angels have wings, and I don't know. Maybe the ones in the dreams did, or maybe they didn't. We don't know. But God did send this special dream. The angels were going up the ladder or the staircase, and they were going down the ladder. Very unexpected dream. And God was at the top. God did something else unexpected. He spoke to Jacob. Look in verse 13. God said, I am the Lord your God, the God of your father Abraham, or your grandfather, and the God of Isaac. And he said, the land on which you lie, I will give it to you and your descendants. Does this sound familiar? Does it sound like God is giving Jacob the promise he gave to Abraham and Isaac? It sure does. Your descendants shall also be like the dust of the earth. And skip down to the end of the verse, and in you and in your descendants, all the families of the earth will be blessed. You guys, there are those three promises. You will have a big family. There'll be as many as the dust of the earth. They will have their own land. And from that family and that land, someone will come to bless the whole earth. Now, God adds something here when he talks to Jacob. Look in verse 15. And behold, I am with you, and I will keep you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to the land that I will give to you. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have planned for you. So God says, not only will I give you the three promises, but I will take care of you no matter where you go, and I will bring you back. Because I will keep my promise. I will work out my plan. I will not leave you. Well, how does Jacob react? Verse 16. Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I didn't know it. He didn't expect to hear God speaking to him here. He didn't expect to have this special dream. But he was pleasantly surprised. And he says, how awesome is this place in verse 17. There is none other than the house of God. This is a special place. It's the gate of heaven. So he rose early, he took up the stone that he had under his head, he put it up as a pillar, and he poured oil on top of it. And he gave the name a special place, Bethel, which means the house of God. He stood up that stone, he took some olive oil, and he poured it on top of the stone. Now, like I said, I go camping and hiking, and I see stones that have been stacked up all the time because people want to stack up the stones to show somebody, I was here. But Jacob isn't so interested in telling people he was here. He's interested in telling people God was here. This is where God came down. His presence, his angels came down from heaven to the earth. And he spoke to me. Jacob wants to show the world that this is a special place. He gives it the name Bethel, the house of God, and he pours oil to mark it as special. Again, if I were going to mark this place, if I were going to name it, I'd probably put up a sign that said, this is Bethel. But that wasn't their custom. Ancient Israelites often would set up a stone as a memorial to something. And that's what Jacob does here. Jacob met God at this place. Jacob heard the voice of God. Jacob was convinced that God would take care of him in this life and even in the next. That God makes a way for us to go to heaven. Jacob called it the gate to heaven. You know what, you guys? In Jacob's life before this, I wouldn't say that he'd always made good decisions. He had cheated his brother. He had lied to his father. But I want you to notice, as we go on studying the life of Jacob, he's changed. He encountered God at this place. And it was not only a special place, but it was special in his heart. Because Jacob will become a very different person. And we're going to continue to study that. But today I want you to remember that God can cause unexpected things to happen. He caused unexpected things to happen with water because he made it that way. Unexpected to us, but in God's plan. Things happened to Jacob, unexpected to us, but in God's plan. He will never leave Jacob, and he will never leave you. He will never leave me. He has a great plan for us. See you next time.